Hello, I am Jody Wolf, and you're watching Expoz January 17, 2017, 12:21. 3 days, and I cannot wait. It's driving me crazy. Topic, prophecy proof of Trump by attacks. And this was a interview of Mark Taylor, The Fireman Prophecy by Sheila Zielinski, and took place December the 12th, 2016. And I want to give you part of that, and I want to give you some other things that are warnings to people like you and I. And so the prophecy proof of Trump by attacks started out 17 people on stage. One by one, they fell. The ones who fell the hardest were the ones who attacked Trump the hardest. Their numbers dropped deeper and steeper than the others. And as they did, as the prophecy indicated, the attacks would only increase Trump without Trump having to do anything. And it happened just that way until they were down to nobody but Trump. And and he went right to it. It says, the reason Trump's numbers went up was God said, "Don't touch my anointed." He said that, and he said it in the prophecy. He said it in the prophecy that came out in the Torah, and also by Kim Clement said the same thing. And the people who attacked Trump the most fell early. And then we come to MEGYN Kelly. This I didn't know. I knew about the sickness, but I didn't know why. The morning of, Mark Taylor was on a conference prayer group, and he called the number of people, I don't know how many, in the hundreds were in that prayer group, and all in the prayer group were praying for God's anointed, Donald Trump. And MEGYN Kelly was doing fine the morning of until she turned to, here I'm trying to find, to BRET BEYER and told her of her pending attack on Donald Trump. She said she was going to hammer Trump. And then she got violently ill. She was sick the whole morning, all the way up until the time of the starting of the 17, anyway, and she got sick, and she remained sick the whole day. MEGYN Kelly told BRET BEYER of her attack. Then God fired a warning shot across the bow, and MEGYN got literally sick that morning and threw up. She got sick and remained sick, but she went on to the attack anyway. Over and over, she attacked Trump. And what do we see is the final, the final, I guess, is not completely over, but she's no longer with Fox. And truth be known, it's not her choice. And not only that, it hurt Fox because you saw the crumbling by starting with the highest man. He left. And it has stabilized for now because others on Fox remain dedicated to Donald Trump, and they still hang in there high. And so then that was the pinnacle of her career the morning before she told Brett BEYER. She was at her highest point, ratings and everything. And after that, she slowly crashed until no one was watching her anymore. And people felt that is a personal attack on the person that they liked. But no one knew at that time, well, they did at that time, that Trump was going to win outright. He was going to win. And so they continued to attack Trump on YouTube. Now get this. Even on YouTube, God warns, don't go against to hurt my anointed, Trump. And those who go back, and when you go back in history and look at the death of Christ on the cross, his church began at his death. This is our church today. But each of his disciples were attacked in many ways. Many were killed. Many were imprisoned. And some were crucified. They were not popular then, but yet today they're very popular. And these same people are living scared, feared for their lives, and they'll never live to be the happy life they wanted to live because of the attacks on Christians. And all who will attack will fail, will fall. They just don't realize the potential that they could have or would have reached. Once you do a blog or on a Facebook or anywhere else and hit enter, it's launched. It's gone worldwide. You cannot recall it and bring it back. And I have a surprise out of that to me. And I was really surprised. So those who go on YouTube and attack Trump are being dealt with also by God. Their numbers are low. Their numbers are dropping. Remember who you attack on YouTube, Facebook, and hit the enter key, because now it's worldwide. Even though if you go and retract it or delete it from your page, it's still out there, and it's logged and cataloged. And it's in God's hands. It's there. It's in the airways forever. It never really returns back to you. So now, having said what I did about YouTube, I never really noticed until weeks later, in fact, only weeks ago, that from the first post of mine, when I said, oh my, Trump shot himself in the foot. I didn't get a lot out of that. But it's like when Rocky's getting beat and he was taking it, and then his referee, his guy, his trainer, somebody said to him, he's going down. He said, no, he's getting mad. Remember that? That's kind of the way it hit me. I said something, but when I came back on the next blog, I came right back up on Trump. And my numbers have increased up to tenfold since that day on most everything that I put out there. And I am being very careful not to guess unless I tell you this is my opinion only. And so God works in mysterious ways. And then, in closing, I ran across one more. And it was sitting right here the whole time, and I didn't notice it. I did a blog several days ago about the 70 nations, remember that, going against Israel. And I said, oh, wow, God is not going to be pleased. and it was our representative over there that abstained, which really should hurt America immediately. And then, for some reason, another one comes up on the 15th. And then today, posted, and he duplicated the exact words that I said several days ago. Derek Gilbert, he said, if you remember, I talked about the 70 sons of El who became the council of God, but God had to remind them, I created you. You are God's with a little g. You are Elohim. Elohim is either a singular or a plural. Yahweh is a Elohim. No other Elohim is a Yahweh. So he made it clear to that council. Well, today, the 15th and the 16th, those same 70 appointees by God are the 70 nations that went against Israel. That 70 nations, they still have no peace. And they won't have peace until they get off of that point, until they decide to get away from it and say, man, this is hurting us, not helping us. But they're not going to do it. The Bible says they're not going to do it. The Bible clearly says in the end days, no country will stand with my people, including the United States. We will not be there to defend Israel in the end days. And but between now and then, we do have, and we are promised, a very monstrous, prosperous 8 years that we've never seen before. We are getting that. That's coming to us. Every one of you out there watching me, you're gonna become better off than you ever have been, or most of you that have never been on a solid footing will be. And those of you, there's a lot of you that's reached your peak and you're satisfied. Well, I've reached my peak, and then I was taken down by an oil company, and I'm now looking to come back. So just remember that God said in Psalms 82, he talks about and tells what he said to ye are gods, all of you who are the children of the Most High, with a little g. But you die like men, you fall like one of the prince. And when they act like the only creator, Yahweh, then the only Elohim is Yahweh. In other words, God makes it very clear, that is me, not you. And this is where they stand today. God is reminding that 70 nations who is truly in charge. And if they don't, and he's given them a chance right now to back away from that. If they don't, you'll still not see peace in any of those nations, including this nation. But for now, this nation with Trump, we're not one of the 70. We are going to be the protectors of Israel for the next 8 years. After that, only God knows. But enjoy the next 8 years. You will prosper. Your life will be better off than it's been. And even those of you who hate Trump, even your lives will get better. So think about that, please. Jody Wolf Expoz.